censorship in Australia, and mandatory digital ID. Australia is at crossroads, grappling with the balance between freedom and control. As the government tightens its grip on digital spaces and personal identities, the debate over censorship and mandatory digital ID is heating up. Let's dive into the heat of this issue and explore what it means for Australians today. Censorship in Australia has evolved dramatically over the years, from the early 20th century's focus on literature and films to today's digital age. The government's approach to controlling information has always sparked debate. The journey began with the Customs Act of 1901, which aimed to keep obscene materials out of the country. This was just the start, as the 1920s and 1930s saw the establishment of the Commonwealth film censorship, tightening the reins on what Australians could watch. The post-war era brought even stricter controls, especially during the Cold War. The government was on high alert, censoring anything that seemed subversive or politically sensitive. The Broadcasting and Television Act of 1942 further regulated what could be aired on radio and TV. Today, the internet is a battleground for censorship. The government blocks access to websites hosting illegal and harmful content, with internet service providers are required to comply or face penalties. This has led to heated debates about freedom of expression versus public safety. Controversial censorship cases. The banning of the video game Manhunt in 2004 and the film Ken Park in 2003 were just two examples that highlight the ongoing tension between protecting public morals and upholding freedom of expression. Enter the Digital ID Act 2024, a game changer in how Australians verify their identities online. This mandatory system aims to streamline online transactions with government and businesses, but it's not without its critics. The Act introduces a voluntary accreditation scheme, privacy and customer protections, and governance mechanisms to regulate digital ID services. Accredited providers must display a trust mark, indicating they meet high standards for privacy, security, and usability. Starting December 1st, 2024, state and territory government services can join the Australian government digital ID system. This move is set to revolutionize how Australians interact online, but it also raises significant concerns. Critics argue it could lead to increased government surveillance and data violations, eroding privacy and civil liberties. One of the biggest fears is that the digital ID system could enable the government to track individuals' online activities. This potential for increased surveillance has many Australians worried about their privacy. They have not remained silent in the face of the concerns. Many groups and individuals have organized protests and campaigns to voice their opposition. One of the most notable protests against the mandatory digital ID systems has been organized by Pauline Hanson's One Nation Party. They have held rallies in major cities across Australia, drawing attention to the potential risks of digital ID. These rallies aim to send a clear message to the government that many Australians are opposed to the idea of a digital ID system that could infringe on their privacy and freedoms. Minor political parties such as the United Australia Party and One Nation have also ramped up their campaigns against the digital ID laws. These campaigns often highlight fears of the Big Brother scenario, where the government has excessive control over individuals' lives. Media protests. In response to increasing censorship, Australian media organizations have also taken a stand. In 2019, newspapers across the country published blacked-out front pages as a part of the Your Right to Know campaign. This unified effort aimed to highlight the government's restrictions on press freedom and the need for greater transparency and protection for journalists. The question is, what's happening next?
I'll be there in a minute. I'm just securely uploading my personal identification documents into this secure site.
Are you sick and tired of the government not having access to all your personal data?
No, not really.
Do you sometimes wish you could just store all your sensitive identification documents in one centralised digital system that's designed and operated by the government?
Huh? No, not at all. Go away.
Well, too bad, because without any debate or scrutiny, we've passed a digital ID bill through Parliament. Then we're going to track your carbon use and slap a new tax on you. Then we're going to shut down your bank account just because you said mean things about me on Twitter.
You can do that?
Of course we can, but do you really think the government would want that sort of power?